for a while. And when he knew it was about time and just said, take me back home and buried me at a particular place. So
Right.
it's more of sentiment. All people who have the premonition they're gonna die young and they just believe or they are spiritual and this is where they want, this is what they just want.
Yeah.
They must
Yeah.
have a connection with whatever they want to bury.
Yeah. Yeah. I can certainly understand that, because sometimes people just, I suppose it's like a kind of wanting to have a last respect or last your last wish honored, that sort of thing. What do you think, Trevor?
Well, I think if anything, I think many people say they would like their ashes scattered in a particular place. I don't know whether most people say that, but very often I get the impression that families have an idea where their loved one would like to have their ashes scattered, or indeed where they might be buried. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
I picked up on what you said actually when you said, well, why would it matter? Because you won't know anything about it anyway. And I, I would ask you, you're a man of faith. Do
Yeah.
you actually think you would know nothing about it? I know the body is clearly the physical aspect of somebody, and maybe you're saying that the soul has flown away somewhere. But what did you mean when you said you wouldn't know about it anyway?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to briefly touch on it because it's quite deep, um, and it might deviate into or become a religious debate. But anyway, I'm just going to quickly touch on it. So the Bible, which I believe in, just does say that, when we die, we are conscious of nothing, right? The spirit that we breathe, the spirit that is active in the body, goes to the maker who gave the spirit. And then the body, the flesh, goes back to the dust. And that's
Where
how
does
far
his soul go? Where does his soul go?
that's a very good debate actually. Right. Um, so the soul is the same thing as the body, right? So in an accident, at the scene of an accident, they'd say 8 souls were lost or 5 souls were lost. It just means 5 people lost their lives, which is the soul. The soul is not immortal. Let's just let me just let's just cut to the chase. The soul dies. It's not immortal. It does perish. I don't know if that's satisfactory enough. I'm seeing smiles from both quarters. Right. Okay. So feel free. Let's sort of let's sort of talk about
Yeah,
it.
my belief is like you rightly said. I just
Yeah.
wanted to chip in because
All right. Okay.
most of the time we say spirit, body, and soul.
Right.
I
Okay.
believe the soul dies as well because the soul is what you think is your emotion, how you think, and so many other things. And once the body is not there to
Yeah.
house that soul, is good as dead.
Yeah. Yeah. You need. It's like it's the only other way that I can sort of the only other analogy that I can use to explain it is the electricity the electricity that we use in our homes, right? So there's something that flows through those cables, and it's called a current
Current,
in
yeah.
a layman's term. So there's the current. Now, without the current, there is no electric in that. So if the current is absent, it's just a bunch of cables, if that makes sense. But when the current flows through, then you have electricity. Yeah, it's the same as life. So without
I,
the
I, I, I also believe, let's say the cable is the body.
okay,
The
yeah,
current, you cannot see the current
you can't. Yeah,
because it flows through the cable. And
yeah.
once the flows through the cable. And
Yeah.
once the cable is cut off, there's nothing to flow through the cable. There's no current.
Yeah.
So
So
the
once
current
it
is cut
off,
short as well.
the source of power, which is the current, is what powers whatever electronic device that you use, and that's the end of it. So Trevor, I see that you've got a face like not in agreement.
I wonder what you were going to say there. No, I actually
I
was
didn't
going.
see the face,
I was
you
going to
know.
introduce. I was going to introduce one of my what are they called? Would you rather's, because it seems to be quite appropriate there,
Right, okay.
as we're getting into quite a deep conversation as well. So
Yeah.
my would you rather to both of you
Yeah.
is this: would you rather know how you're going to die or when
Wow,
you're going to
that's
die?
deep. That's deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So think about it. How
well,
or when? What's better?
I'd let I'd let my honorable friend South Emo, I'd let him go first. Over to
I'll
you.
be honest,
Yeah.
it is very scary to know how you're gonna die. What about, for example, if they say, "Oh, you're gonna die in your sleep," oh, you'll be so happy. What about somebody says, "Oh, you're gonna die in a fatal accident," or "You're gonna die in a plane crash"? Every time you get on the plane, yourself.
Right, we're gonna edit that bit out. But anyway, carry on.
So it is very, very scary. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to know how I'm gonna die. I'll be honest.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, I suppose there is it brings up it just makes me I remember something that I read when I was a kid, and it was a book, and I think I actually read it in school. And this book was about a woman that was barren for years and she couldn't have a child. But anyway, she found a genie, some sort of genie. And this genie, she could only have one wish granted. So she wanted a child. So her wish was that she wanted to bear a child. And this genie said, well, you will be able to have a child. However, the child would only be able to live as long as that burning wood in the fire. So she was making a meal via a burning wood, if you know what I mean. So she had this wood together and put fire to
Mhm.
it, and then she had a pot on it, and that was how she was cooking her food. So I gathered it must have been quite a long time ago, before the invention of stove and gas cookers. So are you following, Trevor?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so there was just one piece of wood, and this genie said to her, right, that piece of wood, uh, as as long as that piece of wood keeps burning, your child that you're going to have will be alive. But if that piece of wood burns out, then your child's going to die. So the point was that she was to have a child that was going to be immortal. So he wasn't going to be able to die if she was able to. Anyway, I'm going into the deep side now. But anyway, so what she did was she took out that piece of wood and extinguished the fire that was burning around it and preserved it. She preserved that piece of wood, and she watched her son grow into a lovely young man. But he had a problem. He was violent. Because he was immortal, nothing could kill him. So he became a